lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I am excited for this video because I'm going to be talking about the Dominique Cosmetics Lemonade palette, and I feel like this palette was super hyped up because they were showing teasers for a while and it was just like waiting and waiting and waiting, and they took forever to reveal the inside, which I think kind of left us time to let our minds wander, like what is this palette gonna be? So I don't know about you guys, but I had like a clear image of what the palette was going to be in my head, especially Lemonade. I was thinking like mostly pinks and yellows. And so when I saw the inside of the palette, which I have on my phone here, so I have reference, and I'm going to put it on the screen so you guys can see it really well. I like it. I really do like it. I think it looks really nice. It's very pretty. I like the shade selection. I like that there's pops of color. I like that I think there's a lot more color than neutral. But I think it looks very wearable. I don't think it looks scary at all, especially if someone does like neutrals more. I don't know, I think it looks really pretty, and I think I am going to end up purchasing it, but it's not what I expected at all. It's not what I expected the Lemonade palette to be. So I just want to say this is not me knocking the palette because I do like it, but this is what I think the Lemonade palette should have been. So I went ahead and I did a little Z palette. This is actually from Alwan. The company reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to try one of their palettes, and I think this is super cute. It's just like actual like zebra print. It even like looks like the texture and whatnot. So here's what the inside of my palette looks like, of what I imagined for a Lemonade palette, and I tried to stick as closely to her palette as possible. I kind of went with the same theme. And so I will go through and tell you what each shadow is, swatch them, and kind of tell you why I chose them for this palette, just because I wanted to do something that was wearable but also like super unique, super different. Like I feel like this is kind of, I don't know, I really like the color scheme together. So I don't know, I feel like this is more on the unique side. So I kind of took her idea and I just added what I think was missing from the palette, which is most specifically there is a light pink in the palette, but there's not like a true pink, and there is like an off yellow shade like a mango, but there's no like a lemon shade. I'm like, it's Lemonade, the Lemonade palette, lemon. So I went ahead and added a super bright yellow because I feel like that was just necessary here. Anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and start off. So the first shade that she has is called Lemon Soda, and it looks like a really like iridescent light yellow shade, which I actually really like. That's one of the shades I would definitely get it for. I think it looks like a really pretty, like I live for a nice light gold highlight shade. And if I wanted to do the exact same thing in this palette, I definitely could have gone with like MAC Nylon, which I don't think is quite as yellow, but it is kind of the same, like kind of the same idea. But instead I went ahead and chose this shade from from Makeup Geek, and this is called I'm Peachless. It just looks like this, and this is kind of like a pinky gold duochrome with it like, well, kind of like peach in there too. So I thought this was really, really pretty, and I think a nice duochrome like this would add something different to the palette. So there's I'm Peachless. It's really hard to see in swatches, especially on my skin tone, but it is like just a really pretty like peachy duochrome. So I don't know, I really like that shade. And then next in their palette they have Pink Lemonade, which just looks like a nice light pink shade, which I think is pretty, and I feel like that could go with a lot of looks. So I went ahead and did something similar. I did a light pink. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell, but this shade is from Looksy, and it is called what is it called again? Tesla. And this is like a true pink, like bluish green duochrome, and it is so beautiful. It is one of the most unique pink shades I've ever tried in my life. So I thought that this would just be a really cool addition to the palette. Again, it's the only other duochrome that I have in here, but it is a nice, really pretty pink shade, but it has like that really cool shift to it. So I went ahead and added that to my version of the palette. Okay, so next shade in the palette is called Nude Tea, and I would have to swatch this to see which way it leans, but it either is like a very nude, just like a like setting shade, or it is a very light transition color, depending on your skin tone definitely, or like if you're super dark, then maybe that would be a highlight shade for you. But either way, I feel like it's just unnecessary. Like everyone has that color. Like I just feel like that's wasting space in this palette that has the potential to be super cool. So I went ahead and switched that shade out for this. We could call this a true lemon shade. This is from Sydney Grace Cosmetics, and it is called Sunbeam, which is a cute, super cute name, and it is It's not like a super metallic shade, it's more of like a satin finish, but it is the coolest, like bright yellow. And I feel like because of the formula of this, you could definitely use this as a matte, or you could use it wet and make it more metallic. So you can definitely make this whatever you want it to be. I just feel like that goes so well with the whole like lemonade theme. Next shade in the palette is Peach. And this is just looks like a like peachy shimmery shade, which is fine, like it's fine, but I'm kind of over neutral, so I went ahead and decided instead that I would do a peach shade. Well, this is kind of like, it's like a dirty peach, if that makes sense. I don't know, I'm not that great at describing colors, but I went ahead and did a matte shade instead, and I just thought it would be a really great addition to the other colors that I have here. And this is the shade Wait For It from ColourPop. And it is super pretty. Yeah, dirty peach is a good word for this, I think. Feel free to disagree with me if you are better at describing colors than me, but I thought that would be really pretty. So the next shade in the palette I really like. It is Cucumber, and it is just a light shimmery green shade. I thought that was a really great touch. I feel like it's a nice fun pop of color. It makes sense in the palette, like cucumber tea. I've never had it, I'm not that fancy, but I thought of green for this palette either way. I don't know, just because I imagine like the green on the lemon. I don't know, that's just what I was thinking. So I went ahead and I stuck to that same theme, and I just chose the closest color in my collection, which is La Playa from ColourPop. It's just like a nice light green shade. This isn't the most pigmented shade ever. You definitely have to build it up a little bit, but it's so pretty when you do build it up, especially if you put this on the inner corner. It is absolutely stunning. So I thought that was, I really like the cucumber shade in her palette. See, like I said, it's not the most pigmented shade ever. Here, I'll add just a little bit. We'll do a second swatch on top, just so you can really see the shade. But I do really like it. Okay, so onto the bottom row. I think my favorite color in this palette is Mango, and I don't have anything close to that. The only thing I can think of is I actually just got the P. Louise palette, and I feel like the shade P. Louise kind of looks like Mango, but not exactly. I think Mango, I don't know, I feel like they really captured the color of a mango. So I have no complaints with that color at all. I think it's super beautiful. I just went ahead and added a kind of similar color. I would definitely choose Mango over this color, but I just chose something to go there that was close. But I really like Mango. But this shade is Tiki from ColourPop, and it's kind of like the same vibe, the yellowy orangey shade, but this one's definitely lighter. So yeah, I like Mango more. So that's one of the colors that would make me buy the palette. But Tiki from ColourPop, again, is beautiful. So the next shade in the palette is Sweet Tea. It's just a warm orange brown. I went ahead and chose Early Bird from Makeup Geek. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I was looking before, but I was in darker lighting. Now that I'm looking at this color, like with the ring light, I feel like this is definitely a lot lighter than Sweet Tea, but I do still really like it, and I feel like, yeah, I guess you could go with something darker, but I just went with a nice warm orange brown shade, and I think this one is pretty. Just gonna add a second layer of that, build it up just a little bit more. So the next shade in the palette is Chai Tea, and this looks just like a dark brown with like a little bit of purple undertone to it, which I don't have a problem with. I think that a nice deep shade is great in every palette because it just makes the looks more versatile. I just went ahead and did Americano eyeshadow because I was going for the closest eyeshadow I could find to the one in the Lemonade palette, and I feel like this is a pretty similar color, and I do like that color option, so I just went ahead and did the same thing. So there's Americano. So the next shade in the palette is Strawberry, and I definitely want to see this one swatched. I think it has the potential to be very beautiful. I don't hate the shade, but I feel like in this palette, if there's one shade that I really want, it is this shade. I feel like, I don't know. I know that Pink Lemonade is not this bright, but I just feel like something about a Lemonade palette I just wanted. In my mind, I envisioned a bright pink. So this is Sandbar from ColourPop, and I love this shade so much. Isn't that color amazing? Okay, so last but not least is Blueberry Fizz, and I do like this shade. I think it's super pretty. I feel like, again, it is a fun pop of color, and I went ahead and tried to choose a very similar color. Oh, I dropped it. Okay, for this is from Sydney Grace Cosmetics, and it is Mythical, and it's kind of like that cool tone purpley blue, like blueberry shade, and it is super metallic, so I thought the Blueberry Fizz might be just a touch more blue. Again, these shades haven't even been swatched yet. They have only been just revealed, so that's what I'm going off of right now. But again, I like that shade, so I'm happy about it. So here is this beautiful shade, Mythical. So here is what all 10 shades look like swatched together, and honestly I'm really happy with it. I feel like this is the perfect summer palette. Like, I just love this color scheme together, and I feel like you could do so much with it, and you could also keep it very basic and just very neutral if that's what you needed, or you could just, I feel like you could spice it up real quick. So I really love all these colors together, and this is what I imagined the Lemonade palette to be. And like I said, I really do like the Lemonade palette, and I probably will end up purchasing it because I really want to try the formula. And Kristen Dominique, I'm not like a huge fan. I don't watch every video, but when I watched her launch videos, she seemed so genuinely like passionate about her company and her crying. Like, I literally cried. I barely ever cry when YouTubers cry, but she made me cry. So I think I am going to buy it, is what I'm trying to say. But this is another option if you guys were curious what I imagined it to be. So I'm really curious if the Lemonade palette was what you guys were expecting, so definitely leave your thoughts down below. Was it too colorful, too neutral? I think that my biggest complaint was that there was not enough yellow. Like, for a Lemonade palette, I was expecting a bright lemon yellow shade. I think if that was in there, I feel like the entire palette I do like, but if Nude Tea was this kind of yellow, I think that would have been a complete home run, at least in my opinion. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.